Welcome, dear traveler. Tonight, we are not following the footsteps of kings, knights, or legendary heroes. Instead, we are stepping quietly into the life of someone history almost forgot, a medieval farmer. Imagine the world nearly 800 years ago. The roads are nothing more than muddy paths winding through forests and open fields. There are no streetlights, no engines, no glowing city skylines. When darkness falls, it truly becomes dark, broken only by the moon, the stars, and the flickering light of distant hearth fires. Somewhere in a small village surrounded by rolling farmland, a simple wooden cottage rests beneath the fading stars. Inside, a family sleeps. Their home is small, built from timber, woven branches, and thick layers of mud that have hardened over countless seasons. The roof is made of straw that rustles softly whenever the night breeze passes overhead. The air carries the comforting scent of wood smoke mixed with fresh earth. There are no separate bedrooms. Parents, children, and sometimes even elderly grandparents share the same modest space. Privacy is almost unknown here. Every inch of the house serves a purpose. The furniture is simple. A rough wooden table stands near the center of the room. A few handmade stools surround it. Shelves hold clay bowls, wooden spoons, and perhaps a single iron cooking pot, one of the family's most valuable possessions. Against one wall lies a straw mattress covered with wool blankets that have been patched many times over the years. Luxury is not measured by comfort, it is measured by survival. Outside, the village is silent. Mist drifts across the fields like a pale blanket. Tiny drops of dew cling to every blade of grass. Far beyond the village, an owl calls one final time before returning to its hidden nest. Then, slowly, the first rooster announces the coming morning. Another answers from across the valley. Soon the sound spreads from cottage to cottage until the entire village seems to awaken together. Our humble farmer opens his eyes before the sun has even touched the horizon. There is no alarm clock, no calendar reminder. The rhythm of nature has become his clock, just as it was for his father, his grandfather, and generations before them. For most medieval farmers, every day begins before sunrise. There is simply too much work to do, and daylight is precious. The harvest cannot wait. The animals cannot feed themselves. The fields demand attention, no matter how tired the farmer may feel. He slowly sits up. His muscles ache from yesterday's labor. His hands are rough, permanently marked by years of gripping wooden tools, carrying heavy loads, and digging into stubborn soil. These aches are familiar companions. They are simply part of life. His wife is already awake. Without speaking, she gently stirs the dying embers inside the hearth. A few small pieces of dry wood are added. Within moments, tiny flames begin dancing once again, filling the cottage with warmth. Fire is never taken for granted. Keeping it alive through the night saves valuable time and effort each morning. Starting a completely new fire can take patience, skill, and precious fuel. As the fire grows stronger, soft orange light fills the room. The children begin waking one by one. No one complains. This is simply another ordinary morning. Outside, the cool air brushes against the farmer's face as he steps through the wooden doorway. The sky is changing. Deep blue slowly fades into shades of purple, pink and pale gold. Morning mist still hangs over the fields. Everything feels peaceful, almost timeless. Nearby, chickens scratch gently at the ground. A sleepy cow lets out a low, patient moo from its enclosure. A pair of sheep quietly nibble at the damp grass. Every animal has value, not as pets, but as partners in survival. The farmer pauses for a moment. He looks across the land his family has worked for generations. Some of these fields belong to his lord. Some small strips are his family's to cultivate. Every furrow tells a story. Every stone removed from the soil represents hours of hard work. Every harvest depends upon weather that no one can control. A late frost, too much rain, too little rain, a summer storm. Any one of these can change an entire year's fortune. Life in the Middle Ages is uncertain. There are no insurance policies, no emergency savings accounts, no supermarkets waiting with full shelves. The land provides, or it does not. Yet, despite these hardships, there is beauty here. Birdsong fills the morning air, wildflowers bloom along narrow paths. The rising sun paints golden light across fields of barley and wheat. The farmer smiles, not because life is easy, but because another day has begun. Another chance to work, another chance to provide, another chance to keep his family safe. History often celebrates great battles. It remembers mighty kings. It builds monuments to powerful rulers. But kingdoms survive because ordinary people wake before sunrise, because they plant seeds, because they harvest grain, because they care for animals through every season. Without farmers, there are no castles. Without harvests, there are no armies. Without bread, there are no kingdoms. As the church bell rings softly across the valley, the village fully awakens. Smoke rises from dozens of cottages. Doors begin to open. Neighbors greet one another with quiet nods. Another medieval day has begun. And for our humble farmer, the hardest work is only just beginning. The morning has fully arrived. A soft golden light stretches across the fields, chasing away the last traces of mist. Birds sing from the hedgerows, and the village is alive with quiet movement. Smoke curls from nearly every chimney, carrying the familiar scent of burning oak and damp straw. Inside the cottage, the fire crackles steadily. The warmth spreads through the small room, taking the chill from the cool morning air. It is not enough to make the house comfortable by modern standards, but it is enough to begin another day. Breakfast is simple. There are no stacks of fluffy pancakes, no sizzling bacon, no sweet pastries fresh from a bakery. Those are luxuries beyond imagination. Instead, the farmer's wife lifts a heavy iron pot over the fire. Inside, oats have been slowly cooking in water since dawn. The mixture thickens into a simple porridge. Sometimes barley is used instead, sometimes rye. Whatever grains survived the previous harvest becomes the family's breakfast. The meal is plain. There are no colorful spices imported from distant lands. Salt is precious. Sugar is almost unknown to ordinary villagers. If the family is fortunate, there may be a small spoonful of honey to sweeten the bowl. But most mornings, the porridge tastes exactly as nature intended: warm, earthy, simple. The farmer takes his wooden bowl with both hands. Steam rises gently into the cool air. He eats slowly, not because there is plenty of time, but because every bite matters. This meal must provide enough energy for hours of physical labor. The children sit quietly around the table. Even the youngest understands that food should never be wasted. Every grain has required months of work. Every loaf of bread has depended upon favorable weather. Every meal is the reward for countless hours spent in the fields. Beside the porridge sits yesterday's bread. It is dark, dense, and coarse. Unlike the soft white bread enjoyed by wealthy nobles, this bread is made from rye, barley, oats, or a mixture of whatever grain the family could grow. Tiny pieces of bran remain inside. Sometimes even small bits of husk can still be found in the loaf. It is not elegant, but it fills hungry stomachs. The farmer tears away a piece. The crust is hard enough that it almost requires both hands. He dips it into the warm porridge before eating. Nothing goes to waste. If the bread becomes too stale to chew comfortably, it will later be soaked into soup or broth. Water sits in a wooden bucket nearby, yet, surprisingly, many villagers do not drink plain water very often. Streams can become contaminated by animals or waste. Instead, many families drink small amounts of weak ale. This ale contains very little alcohol compared to modern beer. It is brewed safely and provides hydration throughout the day. Even children sometimes drink diluted versions. The taste is mild, far from the strong drinks served in noble feasts. A small piece of cheese appears on the table. It was made weeks ago using milk from the family's cow. Hard cheese keeps longer than fresh milk, making it valuable throughout the seasons. If fortune has smiled upon the household recently, there may also be onions, cabbage, or a few dried apples stored from the previous autumn. Fresh fruit is seasonal. Fresh vegetables depend entirely on the family garden. Nothing arrives from distant countries. Every ingredient has a story. Every ingredient has required patience. As breakfast comes to an end, the farmer quietly offers a short prayer. Faith is woven deeply into everyday life. Before meals, before planting, before harvest, before sleep. The family thanks God for the food before them, hoping for protection throughout the day. Outside, neighbors begin passing along the narrow dirt road. Some lead oxen toward the fields, others carry wooden hoes across their shoulders. Children chase loose chickens back into fenced yards before hurrying to help their parents. There is little separation between childhood and adulthood here. Every pair of hands has value. Even young children gather firewood, collect eggs, scare birds away from growing crops, or help carry water from the village well. Work is simply part of growing up. The farmer stands and reaches for his clothing. His tunic is made from rough wool. It scratches slightly against the skin. His leather belt holds a simple knife, an everyday tool rather than a weapon. The knife cuts rope, slices bread, repairs wooden tools, prepares food. It is one of the few possessions he carries every day. His boots are worn from years of walking muddy fields. The leather bears countless cracks. Each repair tells the story of another difficult season survived. His wide-brimmed hat, woven from straw, waits near the doorway. Soon it will shield him from the summer sun. Nearby hangs a thick wool cloak. In winter, it becomes his greatest protection against icy winds. The farmer steps outside once more. The village has become busy now. Dogs bark in the distance. Geese wander noisily across the common green. A blacksmith's hammer rings faintly from the far end of the village. Somewhere nearby, a baby begins to cry. Life is everywhere. Ordinary, busy, honest. The farmer takes one final look at his cottage.
His wife remains inside, already preparing for her own long day of baking, spinning wool, tending the garden, caring for children, feeding animals, and completing dozens of unseen tasks that keep the household alive. Their work is different. Its importance is equal. Neither could survive without the other. With breakfast finished and the morning sun climbing steadily higher into the sky, the farmer picks up his wooden plow handle and begins walking toward the open fields. Ahead lies a full day of labor beneath the endless medieval sky, and the earth is waiting. The village slowly disappears behind the farmer as he follows the narrow dirt path toward the open fields. The morning air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of damp earth, wild flowers, and freshly cut wood. Tiny beads of dew sparkle across every blade of grass, catching the first rays of sunlight like scattered jewels. The path is familiar. He has walked it almost every day of his life. His father walked this same route. His grandfather likely did as well. Generation after generation has followed these footsteps, each hoping that the land would provide enough to carry their family safely through another year. The village itself is small. Perhaps only a few dozen families live here. Every person knows every neighbor. There are few strangers. News travels by word of mouth, carried from village to village by traveling merchants, wandering monks, or the occasional messenger from the Lord's estate. For many farmers, the world stretches only a few miles beyond home. Some will spend their entire lives without ever seeing a great city. Some will never travel farther than the nearest market town. Their universe is measured not in countries, but in fields, forests, rivers, and neighboring villages. As the farmer walks, other villagers join the path. An elderly man leads a pair of sturdy oxen, their slow footsteps pressing deep into the soft ground. A young woman carries a woven basket filled with seeds. Two brothers shoulder long wooden rakes while quietly discussing the weather. Nobody rushes. The day is long enough. Everyone knows exactly where they must be. Conversation is gentle and practical. They speak of yesterday's rain. They wonder whether the wheat will grow tall this year. Someone mentions that a fox was seen near the chicken coops during the night. Another worries that too much sunlight could dry the soil before the barley has fully taken root. These are the subjects that shape everyday life, not politics, not distant wars. The weather is often more important than the decisions of kings. A single season of poor harvest can bring hunger to an entire village. A season of abundance can mean survival through a harsh winter. The farmer reaches the open fields. From a distance, they appear endless. Long strips of cultivated land stretch across the rolling countryside, separated by narrow, grassy borders. Unlike the neat square farms of the modern world, these fields are divided into long, thin strips. Each family works several scattered pieces of land, rather than one large plot. This arrangement has developed over generations. It allows everyone to share both the rich soil and the poorer ground, giving each household a fair chance when harvest time arrives. The earth beneath his boots feels cool and slightly damp. Good. The recent rain has softened the soil. That will make today's work a little easier. Nearby, a team of oxen waits patiently. They are massive animals, broad-shouldered and calm. Although horses are faster, oxen are stronger and far less expensive to keep. For most medieval farmers, these dependable animals are worth more than almost anything else they own. Without them, plowing heavy soil would become nearly impossible. The farmer gently places a hand upon one animal's neck. The ox breathes slowly, its warm breath rising into the cool morning air. There is trust between them. They have worked side by side through countless seasons. The wooden plow rests nearby. By modern standards, it is simple. Its wooden frame bears the marks of years of repair. Only the cutting edge is made of iron, carefully forged by the village blacksmith. Iron is valuable. Nothing is wasted. When the blade becomes worn, it is sharpened again rather than replaced. Every tool is expected to last for many years. The farmer carefully checks the leather harnesses. A broken strap during the day's work could cost valuable hours. Everything must be secure before the first furrow is cut. Around him, other families begin their own work. Some scatter seed by hand with practiced movements. Others repair fences damaged by winter storms. Children gather stones from the fields, placing them into small piles that will later become walls or boundaries. Even the youngest members of the village contribute. No task is considered too small. Every helping hand matters. Above, the morning sky grows brighter. Clouds drift lazily across a brilliant blue horizon. A flock of birds circles overhead before settling near the edge of the field, searching for insects stirred up by the farmer's footsteps. The sounds of labor slowly replace the quiet of dawn. Wood creaks, oxen snort softly, metal scrapes against earth. Birds sing without pause. Somewhere in the distance, the church bell rings once again. Its familiar tone reminds the villagers that time continues to move forward, not according to clocks, but according to the rhythm of work, prayer, and daylight. The farmer grips the handles of the plow. His palms settle naturally into the smooth wood, polished by years of use. He takes a slow breath. The work ahead will test his strength. Hour after hour, step after step, he will guide the plow through stubborn soil beneath the rising sun. There will be no shortcuts, no machines, only patience, only endurance, only steady hands and determined feet. The oxen lean forward as he gives a quiet command. The heavy plow bites into the earth. Dark, rich soil curls upward for the very first time that season. The first furrow is always special. It marks the true beginning of another growing year, a silent promise between the farmer and the land. If both do their part, life will continue. If either fails, the consequences may last until next spring. The farmer keeps walking, one slow step after another. The rhythm is almost peaceful, almost hypnotic. The sun climbs higher. The day has truly begun. And this is only the first of many thousands of steps he will take before evening finally arrives. The first furrow has been cut. Dark, fertile earth lies exposed beneath the morning sun, releasing the rich scent of soil that has rested through the long winter months. For the farmer, this smell is more than pleasant. It is the smell of possibility. Every harvest begins with this moment. Every loaf of bread, every bowl of porridge, every meal that will sustain his family through the coming year starts with the simple act of turning the earth. The oxen move forward at a slow, steady pace. Their powerful shoulders strain against the leather harness as the wooden plow digs deeper into the field. The farmer walks behind them, gripping the handles tightly. Each step demands concentration. The plow must remain straight. If it drifts too far to one side, valuable land will be wasted. If it cuts too shallow, seeds may struggle to grow. If it cuts too deep, the animals will tire long before the day is over. Plowing is not simply hard work, it is skilled work. A lifetime of experience guides every movement. The field stretches far ahead. It seems endless. The farmer reaches the end of the row, gently turns the oxen around, and begins another pass, then another, and another. The rhythm soon becomes almost meditative. Step, push, guide, turn, repeat. Hour after hour, the same careful movements continue beneath the growing warmth of the sun. There are no headphones, no music, no distractions, only the sounds of nature. Birds sing from nearby hedges. The wind whispers through tall grasses. The steady breathing of the oxen mixes with the soft scrape of iron against earth. Sometimes another farmer calls across the fields, a greeting, a simple joke, perhaps a warning about a loose harness or a hidden stone. Voices carry easily across the open countryside. There is comfort in knowing that no one works entirely alone. Although each family tends its own strips of land, the village depends upon cooperation. When one farmer falls ill, neighbors often help finish the planting. When storms damage a roof, many hands gather to repair it. Life is difficult enough without facing every challenge alone. As the morning continues, the farmer notices stones emerging from the freshly turned soil. Some are no larger than his fist, others require both hands to lift. Each one must be removed. Left in the field, they could damage the plow or interfere with planting. Slowly, a small pile begins to grow along the edge of the field. Over many years, thousands of such stones will become walls, paths, and foundations throughout the village. Nothing useful is ever discarded. A gentle breeze cools the farmer's face. It offers only brief relief. The physical effort is relentless. His boots sink slightly into the soft ground with every step. His shoulders ache. His back grows stiff. Sweat gathers beneath his wool tunic despite the coolness of the morning. Yet he does not stop. The seasons allow little room for delay. If planting begins too late, the crops may not fully mature before autumn. Time itself has become another crop that must be carefully managed. Nearby, a flock of crows lands at the far end of the field. They hop eagerly across the newly turned earth, searching for insects, worms, and freshly exposed seeds. The farmer watches them carefully. A few birds are harmless. Too many can become a problem. Later in the season, children may spend hours chasing birds away from the growing grain with shouted voices and rattles made from sticks and stones. Even nature demands constant negotiation. The sky above remains clear, for now, but every experienced farmer understands how quickly that can change. A dark cloud on the horizon, an unexpected hailstorm, days of endless rain, weeks without a single drop. The weather answers to no king, no priest, no farmer. It remains one of the greatest mysteries of medieval life. The farmer pauses only long enough to wipe sweat from his brow. He takes a drink from a small leather flask filled with weak ale. The cool liquid eases his thirst. There is no long break. The work resumes almost immediately. The oxen continue patiently. Their pace never changes. They do not hurry. They do not complain. They simply move forward, one careful step at a time. The farmer has learned something from them over the years. The greatest tasks are not completed with speed. They are completed with steady persistence. Around midday, the sun stands high overhead. Its warmth grows stronger with every passing hour. Shadows shorten across the field. The earth begins to dry where it has already been turned. Looking behind him, the farmer sees long, straight furrows stretching across the landscape. Each one is evidence of honest labor. No audience applauds his work. No songs will be written about this day. No chronicler will record his name. Yet, generations from now, people will still depend on the harvests produced by farmers like him. History often celebrates extraordinary moments, but civilization is built on ordinary days repeated thousands of times. A kingdom cannot eat courage. It cannot survive on glorious speeches. It survives because someone wakes up before sunrise, grips the handles of a worn wooden plow, and keeps walking until the work is done. The farmer glances toward the village in the distance. Thin columns of smoke still rise from the cottages. Somewhere, his wife is hard at work. The children are busy with their own responsibilities. Everyone contributes. Everyone carries part of the burden. He smiles quietly. There is still much to do before the sun begins its journey toward the western hills. The field is only half finished. The day is only half over, and the land is still asking for more.
By the time the field has been fully plowed, the sun hangs high above the countryside. The morning chill has vanished, replaced by the gentle warmth of early afternoon. The freshly turned earth lies dark and soft, ready to receive the year's most precious treasure: seeds. They are small enough to fit in the palm of a hand, yet within each one rests the promise of bread, survival, and another year of life. For a medieval farmer, seeds are far too valuable to waste. Every grain scattered across the field has been carefully saved from the previous harvest. Months earlier, after the crops were gathered, the finest kernels were set aside, not for eating, but for planting. It was never an easy decision. During the long winter, when food became scarce, those stored seeds could have filled hungry stomachs, but eating them would have meant sacrificing the future. The farmer knows that patience is often the hardest form of courage. He reaches into a linen sack hanging from his shoulder. Inside are hundreds of wheat kernels. Some villages grow barley instead. Others depend on rye or oats, depending on the climate and the quality of the soil. Every region learns which crops offer the best chance of survival. The farmer closes his fingers around a handful of grain. He pauses for just a moment. Then, with a smooth and practiced motion, he casts the seeds across the earth. His arm swings gently from side to side. The grain falls in a wide, even arc. A few kernels bounce upon the soil. Most disappear into the dark furrows below. The movement appears effortless, but it has taken years to master. Too many seeds in one place, and the plants will compete for sunlight and nutrients. Too few, and valuable land will remain empty. There are no measuring tools, no machines, only experience, only careful observation. The farmer walks forward at a steady pace. Step, reach, scatter, step again, again and again. Each handful carries silent hope. Hope for gentle rain, hope for warm sunshine, hope that insects will spare the young shoots, hope that storms will pass without destruction, hope that the coming harvest will be enough. Nearby, other farmers move through their own fields. Some sing quietly as they work, simple melodies passed down through generations. Others remain silent, listening only to the wind and the distant calls of birds. The village moves together like a great living machine, every family performing its own task, every task connected to the next. Not far away, children follow behind their parents. Some carry small baskets of seed. Others use bundles of leafy branches to lightly brush soil over the scattered grain. Even the youngest understand that every seed deserves care. There is pride in helping. No one is too small to contribute. The farmer occasionally stops to inspect the ground. The soil feels rich between his fingers, dark, moist, full of life. He smiles quietly. The conditions seem favorable today.
Still, experience has taught him never to celebrate too early. The seasons are unpredictable. A week of heavy rain could wash away newly planted seeds. A sudden frost could kill tender sprouts overnight. Nature offers no guarantees. Faith and hard work walk side by side. As the afternoon continues, clouds drift lazily across the blue sky. Their shadows move gently over the fields, like great ships sailing across an endless green sea. A soft breeze carries the sweet fragrance of wildflowers growing along the edges of the farmland. Bees hum from blossom to blossom, completely unaware of the importance humans place upon this day. Life continues in every direction. Above the fields, skylarks rise high into the air, filling the countryside with cheerful songs. Rabbits dart through the tall grass before disappearing into hidden burrows. Far in the distance, a shepherd guides his flock across rolling hills. Everything seems peaceful, yet beneath this calm surface lies constant uncertainty. The farmer knows that one poor harvest can change everything. There are no government relief programs, no crop insurance, no refrigerated warehouses filled with emergency supplies. If the fields fail, hunger follows. Sometimes entire villages struggle through harsh winters. Sometimes disease spreads more easily among people weakened by poor nutrition. The land gives generously, but only when fortune allows. Still, fear cannot stop today's work. The farmer reaches once more into his seed sack. It grows noticeably lighter. Every handful means the future is now resting beneath the soil. Invisible, silent, waiting. He offers a brief prayer beneath his breath. Not for wealth, not for glory, only for enough. Enough grain to bake bread, enough hay to feed the animals, enough food to see his children safely through another winter. It is a modest dream, yet it is one shared by millions of ordinary people throughout medieval Europe. As the final handful of seed leaves his hand, he stops and looks across the field. Nothing appears different. The land still looks dark and empty. There are no green shoots, no visible signs of life, only rows of freshly turned earth stretching towards the horizon. But beneath the surface, the future has already begun. Now comes the hardest part of farming. Waiting. Waiting for rain, waiting for warmth, waiting for tiny green blades to push through the soil, waiting while trusting that months of labor will one day become a harvest. The farmer gathers his empty seed sack. The afternoon sun slowly begins its journey towards the western sky. There is still much work left before evening arrives, because planting the field is only one part of caring for the land. The growing season has only just begun. With the seeds safely resting beneath the soil, the farmer's work is far from over. In fact, planting is only the beginning. A medieval farm is never truly finished. Every day brings another task. Every season demands new responsibilities. The farmer wipes the dust from his hands and looks across the countryside. From where he stands, the village appears peaceful. Thin trails of smoke rise into the afternoon sky. Children's laughter drifts across the fields. The church tower stands proudly at the center of the settlement, its stone walls catching the warm sunlight. It is a beautiful scene, but beneath its calm appearance lies an incredible amount of work. No family survives alone. The village itself is like a living body. Every person plays a role. Every task supports another. Without cooperation, life would become nearly impossible. As the farmer walks toward a nearby meadow, he passes several neighbors already busy with their own duties. One man is repairing a broken fence. The winter storms had loosened several wooden posts, allowing sheep to wander into the wrong fields. A damaged fence is more than an inconvenience. A single escaped animal can destroy weeks of careful planting. Nearby, two elderly women gather herbs growing along the edge of a woodland path. They know the names of every useful plant. Some herbs flavor food, others soothe coughs or ease aching joints. A few are believed to protect against illness or bad fortune. Their knowledge has been passed from mother to daughter for generations. There are no printed medical books in most village homes. Experience is the greatest teacher. Further down the path, several young boys collect fallen branches. Their bundles will become tomorrow's firewood. Every stick matters. Without fuel, the family cannot cook meals or stay warm after sunset. Even children understand that gathering wood is not a chore to avoid. It is part of keeping the household alive. Near the village well, women fill heavy wooden buckets with fresh water. They laugh together while working. They exchange stories. News spreads quickly here. Someone's cow has given birth. A traveling merchant is expected to arrive next week. A neighboring village is preparing for a wedding. These simple conversations strengthen the bonds that hold the community together. Life is difficult. Friendship makes it easier. The farmer continues walking until he reaches a small pasture. Several cows graze peacefully, their tails lazily brushing away flies. A young calf stays close to its mother. These animals represent far more than wealth. They provide milk, cheese, butter, leather, and sometimes the strength needed to pull heavy carts. Caring for them is a daily responsibility. The farmer checks each animal carefully. A small cut, a swollen leg, signs of sickness. Any problem discovered early may still have a solution. Healthy livestock can mean the difference between comfort and hardship during the coming winter. Beyond the pasture, sheep quietly nibble at fresh grass. Their thick wool will eventually become clothing, blankets, and cloaks. Each spring, the sheep are carefully sheared. The wool is washed, spun into thread, and woven into cloth. A slow process that requires many skilled hands. Nothing happens quickly in medieval life. Everything requires patience. Nearby, several women sit outside their cottages spinning wool. Wooden spinning wheels have not yet become common everywhere. Instead, many use simple drop spindles. Their fingers moved with astonishing speed, twisting fibers into strong thread while carrying on cheerful conversation. It is quiet work, steady work, essential work. Inside another cottage, the rhythmic sound of weaving echoes softly. A wooden loom fills much of the room. Thread crosses thread, slowly becoming cloth. The fabric will become shirts, tunics, blankets, perhaps even a wedding gift for a young couple beginning their own household. Every object in the village has required someone's careful labor. Nothing appears magically. Nothing is easily replaced. As the afternoon stretches onward, the village blacksmith raises his heavy hammer once again. The ringing of metal against metal carries across the valley. His forge is one of the busiest places in the village. Farmers depend upon him. Broken plow blades, bent horseshoes, damaged axes, loose nails, simple tools that determine whether tomorrow's work can continue. The blacksmith's hands are blackened with soot. Sweat glistens upon his brow. His work is as demanding as farming itself. Yet without skilled craftsmen like him, the fields would soon fall silent. Not far away, the village carpenter shapes fresh timber into sturdy beams. He repairs carts, builds doors, crafts furniture. Even the smallest wooden spoon begins as a rough piece of oak underneath his careful hands. Every trade supports another. Every neighbor depends on someone else. This is the hidden strength of the medieval village. Not castles, not armies, community. As the farmer watches his neighbors working together, he feels something deeper than simple familiarity. He feels belonging. These are the people who will help bring in the harvest when the grain is ripe, the people who will rebuild a burned cottage, the people who will care for his family if illness ever keeps him from the fields. No written contract promises this help. No official law demands it. Trust has been built through years of shared labor, shared meals, shared celebrations, and shared hardships. The village survives because its people understand a simple truth. No harvest is ever gathered by one pair of hands alone. The afternoon sun begins to soften. Long shadows stretch across the fields. The day's hardest labor is slowly giving way to evening's quieter tasks. Yet there is still much to do before darkness settles over the countryside. For a medieval farmer, the work ends only when the light itself disappears. As the afternoon sun begins its slow journey toward the western hills, the farmer leaves the pasture and walks along a narrow path that leads toward the manor. Unlike the simple cottages of the village, the manor house stands on slightly higher ground. It is larger, stronger, built to remind everyone who owns the land. This is the home of the local lord. He is not a king. He is not even one of the greatest nobles in the kingdom. Yet to the people of this village, his authority shapes much of everyday life. The farmer pauses for a moment and looks toward the stone building. Its thick walls rise above neatly tended gardens and wooden storehouses. A small stable stands nearby. Servants move quietly between the buildings, carrying baskets, tools, and sacks of grain. To modern eyes, the manor house may not appear grand, but compared to the humble cottages below, it is a place of remarkable comfort. Most medieval farmers do not own all the land they cultivate. Instead, they farm strips of land that belong to the lord of the manor. In return, they receive the right to grow crops, build homes, and raise families within the village. It is an arrangement known for generations, one built upon obligation rather than freedom. Several days each week, depending on the season and local customs, the farmer must leave his own fields behind. Instead, he works the Lord's land. These days are not optional. The crops harvested there help support the manor household, its servants, and sometimes the soldiers who protect the estate. Only after fulfilling these duties may the farmer return to his own strips of land. It is a delicate balance. Every hour spent serving the Lord is an hour not spent caring for his own family's future. Yet refusing is rarely an option. The farmer understands this without complaint. It is simply the world into which he was born. Nearby, several other villagers are already at work. Some repair fences surrounding the Lord's pasture. Others gather firewood for the manor kitchens. A group of women carry baskets filled with vegetables harvested from the manor garden. No one moves with anger. No one celebrates the work either. It is simply another responsibility woven into village life. At the edge of the estate stands a large stone barn. Its wooden doors are thrown open. Inside, sacks of grain from previous harvests are stacked carefully along the walls. Each harvest season, a portion of every farmer's crop will eventually find its way here. This payment helps support the Lord's household and fulfills obligations that have existed for centuries. The farmer knows exactly how much grain his family must provide. Too little could bring serious consequences. Too much would leave his own children hungry during winter. Every basket of wheat is counted with care. Beyond the barn lies the manor's mill. It is one of the most important buildings in the entire village. Here, heavy millstones grind grain into flour. The turning wheel is powered by flowing water from a nearby stream. The sound is steady, almost soothing. Wood creaks, water rushes, stone slowly turns against stone. Most villagers cannot simply grind grain at home. Instead, they bring their harvest here. In return, the miller keeps a small portion of the flour as payment for his work. Some farmers grumble quietly about the fee, yet everyone understands the value of the mill. Without it, baking bread would become far more difficult. The farmer watches sacks of fresh grain disappear inside. Soon, they will emerge as fine flour ready for baking. The transformation feels almost magical, but like everything else in medieval life, it depends upon skilled hands and countless hours of labor. Not far away, several young men repair a section of the manor road washed out by recent rain. Smooth roads are rare. Most are little more than dirt tracks. Still, even simple paths require constant attention. A broken bridge or muddy crossing can delay travelers, merchants, and precious supplies. Everyone contributes when repairs are needed, even those who receive little direct reward. The Lord himself is not often seen working in the fields. His responsibilities are different. He oversees the estate, settles disputes, collects rents and obligations, provides protection during times of conflict. In return, the villagers expect stability, justice, and safety when danger approaches. The relationship is far from equal, yet in the uncertain world of the Middle Ages, it offers a measure of order. As the farmer finishes his duties for the day, he removes his cap for a brief moment, not out of fear alone, but out of respect for long-established customs. Traditions shape nearly every part of medieval life. People rarely question them. They simply live within them. The afternoon light grows softer. A gentle breeze stirs the tall grass surrounding the manor. Swallows dart gracefully through the sky, catching insects in midair. The farmer begins the walk back toward his own fields. There is relief in leaving the manor behind. His own crops still need attention. His own family still depends upon the work of his hands. No matter how many obligations he fulfills, his greatest responsibility remains waiting beyond the next hill: the land, the home, the people he loves. As the village comes back into view, smoke once again rises from familiar cottages. The church bell echoes softly across the valley. Day is slowly giving way to evening, but the work of a medieval farmer is not yet complete. There are still animals to feed, tools to repair, and a family waiting for him at home.
The shadows have begun to grow longer. The bright heat of the afternoon slowly softens as the sun sinks lower in the western sky. A warm, golden light spreads across the fields, bathing the village in colors of amber and honey. For many people, this might seem like the end of the workday. For a medieval farmer, however, another important chapter is just beginning. The crops have been planted, the Lord's duties have been fulfilled. Now it is time to care for the living creatures that make life on the farm possible. As the farmer walks back toward his cottage, he hears familiar sounds drifting through the evening air. A cow calls from the pasture.
Sheep bleat softly from the hillside. Geese chattered noisily as they wander across the village green. Chickens scratch beneath the hedges, searching for the last insects of the day. These sounds are the heartbeat of the village. Every animal has a purpose. Every animal depends upon human care. The farmer reaches the small wooden gate that opens into his family's pasture. The old latch creaks as he pushes it open. Inside, his cow lifts her head and watches him approach with calm, trusting eyes. She has known him for years. She recognizes his footsteps. Gently, he runs his hand along her neck, feeling the warmth of her thick coat. She has provided milk for the family through every season. From that milk comes butter, cheese, cream, and sometimes enough extra to trade with neighbors for goods the family cannot produce themselves. The farmer kneels beside her with a simple wooden bucket. The evening milking begins. His movements are slow and practiced. The steady rhythm fills the quiet pasture. Milk splashes gently against the sides of the bucket, creating a peaceful sound that has echoed across farms for countless generations. Nearby, a curious calf watches closely. Its large eyes follow every movement. Soon, it will grow strong enough to work the land or produce milk of its own. Each healthy animal represents hope for the future. When the milking is finished, the farmer carefully carries the bucket toward the cottage. Not a single drop should be wasted. Fresh milk spoils quickly. Before long, his wife will begin turning it into butter or cheese, preserving it for the days ahead. Next come the sheep. The farmer walks through the pasture, counting each one. 1, 2, 3, until every animal has been found. Predators are always a concern. Foxes, wolves in some regions, even thieves, though uncommon, sometimes target isolated farms during difficult years. A missing sheep is more than the loss of an animal. It is the loss of wool for clothing, milk for food, and possibly new lambs in the spring. The farmer checks their legs for cuts, their fleece for signs of illness. Most appear healthy. He smiles with quiet satisfaction. As daylight begins to fade, he gently guides them toward their enclosure for the night. Nearby, the family's faithful dog circles the yard. Its ears remain alert. Its nose constantly searches the evening breeze. The dog guards the animals, warns of strangers, and sometimes helps move livestock between fields. It asks for little in return: a warm place near the fire, a few scraps from supper, kind words from familiar voices. The farmer kneels for a moment to scratch behind its ears. The dog's tail begins wagging immediately. Some friendships require no words. The stable stands quietly beside the cottage. Inside, the family's hard-working oxen rest after their long day in the fields. The farmer brushes loose dirt from their coats. He checks each hoof carefully. A small stone trapped beneath a hoof could cause painful injury tomorrow. The animals receive fresh hay gathered during the previous summer. Clean water is poured into wooden troughs. Only after every animal has been fed does the farmer allow himself to think about his own evening meal. Their well-being comes first, because without them, next season's work would become almost impossible. The sun now hangs just above the distant hills. Its golden light has softened into deep shades of orange and crimson. Long shadows stretch across the pasture. Birdsong gradually fades as flocks settle into the trees for the night. A cool breeze replaces the warmth of afternoon. The village grows quieter. One by one, neighboring farmers complete the same familiar routines: closing gates, carrying buckets, gathering eggs, stacking tools under shelter. Across the valley, smoke rises from dozens of chimneys as evening meals begin to cook. The day's labor has not made anyone wealthy. It has not brought fame. No songs will celebrate these simple tasks. Yet, every kingdom depends on evenings exactly like this. Because healthy animals mean healthy farms. Healthy farms mean full granaries. And full granaries mean that entire nations can survive another winter. The farmer pauses at the gate before heading inside. He looks once more across the peaceful fields. The land is quiet now. The animals are safe. For today, his work is finally complete. But tomorrow, before the first light touches the sky, it will all begin again.
The last rays of sunlight slip behind the distant hills. A deep blue twilight settles gently over the village, and one by one, the cottages begin to glow with the warm light of their hearth fires. Outside, the fields grow quiet. The oxen rest peacefully in their stalls, the sheep huddled together in their pen. The chickens have settled onto their wooden perches, their soft clucking fading into silence. Only the occasional bark of a village dog or the distant hoot of an owl breaks the stillness. The farmer pushes open the cottage door. A wave of warmth greets him. The fire has been burning steadily, filling the room with the comforting scent of oak smoke and freshly baked bread. After spending the entire day beneath the open sky, the little house feels like a sanctuary. His wife is already preparing the evening meal. The iron pot hangs above the glowing fire, its contents bubbling gently. Tonight's supper is a thick pottage. Nearly every medieval family knows this humble dish. It is not a recipe with strict measurements. It is whatever the household has available. A handful of barley, a few onions, cabbage from the garden, leeks, carrots, perhaps a few beans. If fortune has been especially kind, there may even be a small piece of salted pork or smoked bacon cut into tiny pieces so that every spoonful carries a little flavor. Nothing is wasted. Vegetables that remain uneaten today may return to the pot tomorrow. The stew grows richer with each passing day. The family gathers around the wooden table. There are no fine plates made of porcelain, no polished silver utensils. Each person holds a simple wooden bowl carved by hand. Wooden spoons pass from one generation to the next, carefully repaired whenever they crack. The farmer removes his worn cap and quietly gives thanks before eating. The others bow their heads. The prayer is short, simple, sincere. Gratitude comes easily when every meal depends upon months of hard work. Steam rises from the bowls. The pottage is warm and filling. Fresh bread, baked earlier that day, rests in the center of the table. Its crust is dark and firm. The inside is dense, hearty, and satisfying. The farmer tears off a piece and dips it into the stew. The bread soaks up the rich broth before he takes a slow bite. It is not a feast, but it is enough. Enough is often the greatest blessing a medieval family can hope for. As supper continues, conversation begins. The children eagerly describe everything they saw during the day. One proudly announces that she gathered twice as many eggs as yesterday. Another tells the story of a rabbit that darted across the path before disappearing into the woods. Their excitement brings quiet smiles to their parents' faces. The farmer listens carefully. He offers gentle advice when needed. He praises hard work. He reminds them to watch for loose fences tomorrow morning. Lessons are rarely taught in formal classrooms. They are learned around tables like this one. The fire crackles softly beside them. Its dancing light casts long shadows across the wooden walls. Outside, darkness deepens. Without electricity, evening arrives naturally. The family does not fight against it. They welcome it. It is a time to rest both body and mind. Sometimes a neighbor stops by after supper, not for a grand celebration, simply for company. Perhaps someone has heard news from a distant market town. A traveling merchant may have passed through with stories of castles, tournaments, or strange goods brought from lands far beyond the sea. For the children, such tales sound almost magical. Many of them may never travel farther than a day's walk from home. The wider world exists mostly through stories. On other evenings, an elderly grandparent shares memories from long ago. They speak of unusually harsh winters, great harvests, powerful storms, years when wolves wandered dangerously close to the village. These stories are more than entertainment. They preserve experience. They teach caution. They remind the younger generation that difficult times eventually pass. The farmer adds a few memories of his own. He remembers learning to guide an ox for the first time under his father's watchful eye. He remembers the excitement of his first successful harvest. He remembers seasons when rain arrived at exactly the right moment, as though heaven itself had smiled upon the fields. His children listen closely. One day, these memories will become their inheritance, not written in books, but carried in their hearts. The meal slowly comes to an end. Every bowl is carefully scraped clean. Every crumb of bread is eaten. Food is too valuable to leave behind. The empty bowls are washed with fresh water and set upon the shelf. Tomorrow they will be used once again. The fire burns lower now. Only glowing embers remain beneath the blackened cooking pot. The cottage grows quieter. Outside, the stars begin appearing one by one across the clear medieval sky. Without city lights, the heavens seem endless. The great river of the Milky Way stretches overhead in breathtaking detail. The farmer steps outside for a moment. Cool night air fills his lungs. He looks upward. Perhaps he doesn't know the names of every constellation, but he knows the sky well. He has watched it through every season of his life. It tells him when winter approaches, when planting should begin, when harvest is near. The stars have guided farmers for countless generations. They ask for nothing. They simply shine. Tomorrow will bring another sunrise, another long day, another opportunity to care for the land. But tonight, beneath a sky filled with countless stars, the village rests, and for a few peaceful hours, so does the farmer. The evening meal has ended. The wooden bowls have been cleaned and placed carefully on their shelf. The last pieces of bread have been wrapped in a linen cloth, ready for tomorrow's breakfast. Nothing is left out. Nothing is wasted. Inside the cottage, the fire has settled into a bed of glowing embers. The bright flames that danced earlier have grown smaller, casting a gentle orange light across the room. Shadows sway slowly along the timber walls, giving the little home a peaceful, almost dreamlike feeling. Outside, night has fully arrived. The village is quiet now. The busy sounds of the day have faded away. No more axes strike wood. No more carts creak along the dirt road. No more voices drift across the fields. Only nature remains awake. A cool breeze moves through the trees. Crickets begin their steady song. Somewhere beyond the fields, an owl calls into the darkness. Its lonely voice echoes across the valley before disappearing into the night. The farmer steps outside one last time.
He walks slowly around his small yard, carrying a simple oil lantern. Its tiny flame dances behind thin pieces of horn that protect it from the wind. The lantern does not shine very far, just enough to light the path beneath his feet. He checks the stable. The oxen are resting quietly, chewing the last of their hay. They barely lift their heads as he enters. The familiar sound of his footsteps tells them everything is well. He runs a gentle hand along one animal's shoulder. Tomorrow they will work together again. Tonight they deserve their rest. Next, he visits the chicken coop. A faint rustling comes from inside. The hens have tucked their heads beneath their wings. Every bird is safely accounted for. The wooden door remains tightly fastened. Foxes often hunt under the cover of darkness, but tonight the flock is safe. He glances toward the sheep enclosure. The animals sleep close together beneath the open sky. The faithful dog lies nearby, alert even while resting. Its ears twitch at every unfamiliar sound. The farmer smiles. He knows the dog will keep watch long after the family has fallen asleep. With his evening rounds complete, he stands quietly for a moment. The village looks different at night. The cottages are little more than dark shapes beneath the stars. A few windows still glow with candlelight. Families finish their conversations. Parents tuck children into bed. Old men quietly stir the fire before sleep. Soon, even those lights begin to disappear. One by one, the village drifts into silence. Above, the sky is magnificent. Without electric lights, the stars seem almost impossibly bright. Thousands of tiny lights stretch from one horizon to the other. The Milky Way forms a pale ribbon across the heavens. The farmer has seen this sky every night of his life, yet he never grows tired of it. He cannot explain the stars. He does not know how far away they are, but he trusts them. They have watched over every harvest, every wedding, every birth, every farewell. They are silent companions to every generation. A shooting star suddenly crosses the darkness. For just a heartbeat, it leaves a silver trail before vanishing forever. The farmer quietly whispers a prayer, not because he believes the star grants wishes, but because moments like this remind him how small one life truly is. He thinks about tomorrow. There will be fences to repair, weeds to remove, animals to feed, tools to sharpen. There is always another task waiting. Yet, strangely, that thought brings him comfort. The rhythm of work gives shape to his life. Every sunrise offers purpose. Every sunset offers peace. He returns inside the cottage. His wife has already spread fresh straw beneath the wool mattresses. The children are asleep. One little boy still clutches a small wooden toy horse carved by his father during the previous winter. The fire is covered carefully, leaving enough glowing embers to help start tomorrow's flames. Fuel is precious. Every piece of firewood has been gathered with effort. He removes his boots. His feet ache after miles of walking behind the plow. His shoulders are heavy. His hands are rough. Yet there is quiet satisfaction beneath the exhaustion. The fields have been planted. The animals are healthy. His family has eaten. For one more day, life has been good enough. He lies down beside his family. The wool blanket feels warm against the cool night air. Outside, the wind whispers softly through the thatched roof. Somewhere in the distance, the church bell marks the passing of another hour. Its sound fades gently into the darkness. The farmer closes his eyes. Tomorrow will begin before the first light touches the eastern sky, just as it always has, just as it always will. And while kings may shape the pages of history, it is ordinary people like him who quietly keep the world alive. Tonight, the village sleeps. The fields rest beneath the stars, and the timeless rhythm of medieval life continues into another peaceful night.
Morning always returns. No matter how peaceful the night has been, the first light of dawn eventually spills across the fields, and with it comes another day of work. But for a medieval farmer, no two seasons are ever the same. The rhythm of life is not measured by calendars hanging on a wall. It is measured by the turning of the earth, the length of the days, and the changing colors of the fields. Each season brings its own challenges. Each season offers its own rewards, and every season demands respect. Spring is a season of hope. After months of cold winds and frozen ground, the first signs of life begin to appear. Tiny green shoots push through the dark soil. Trees slowly awaken, covering their branches with fresh leaves. Lambs are born in the pastures, their playful leaps bringing life back to the quiet countryside. For the farmer, spring is the busiest beginning. The fields must be plowed, seeds must be planted, fences damaged by winter storms must be repaired. Every task feels urgent. There is little time to rest. The success of the entire year depends upon these early weeks. As spring gives way to summer, the countryside transforms. The fields become oceans of green. Barley sways gently beneath the warm breeze. Wheat grows taller each day. Wildflowers bloom along every path. Bees move tirelessly from blossom to blossom, filling the air with their quiet hum. Summer days are long. Sometimes the farmer begins work before sunrise and does not return home until the sky glows red with evening light. The heat can be exhausting. Sweat soaks through his wool clothing, dust clings to his boots. Yet summer is also a season of quiet satisfaction. The crops are growing, the animals are healthy, the village is full of life. Children laugh while chasing butterflies through the meadows. Women gather herbs from the forest edge. The blacksmith works with his doors wide open, letting the warm breeze cool the forge whenever it can. Then comes autumn, perhaps the most important season of all. This is harvest time. Months of patience finally meet their reward. Entire families gather in the fields from dawn until dusk. Neighbors help one another. Every hand is needed. Men swing long sickles through golden grain. Women gather the cut stalks into neat bundles. Children carry water, collect fallen ears of wheat, and help stack the harvest into towering sheaves. The air is filled with the scent of ripe grain and freshly cut straw. There is laughter. There are songs. Even after weeks of exhausting labor, harvest often brings quiet joy, because every full wagon means another chance to survive the coming winter. Once the grain has been safely stored inside barns, another kind of work begins. Apples are gathered from the orchards, cabbages are stored, beans are dried, herbs are hung from wooden beams to preserve them through the colder months. Firewood is stacked higher and higher beside every cottage. Every family prepares carefully. Winter always arrives, and winter is never forgiving. The first frost appears silently one morning. A thin layer of white covers the fields. The farmer pauses for a moment before beginning his chores. The growing season has ended. Now the land must rest. Winter changes everything. The fields become quiet. Snow blankets the countryside.
Footsteps crunch softly across frozen paths. The trees stand bare against a pale gray sky. Yet even now, work never truly stops. Animals still need feeding. Tools must be repaired. Broken carts are rebuilt inside warm workshops. Women spin wool beside the fire. Men carve wooden handles for next year's tools. Children help twist rope, mend clothing, and prepare baskets for the coming spring. The evenings grow longer. Families spend more time together. Stories are shared beside the fire. Old songs fill the cottages. Grandparents tell tales of winters even harsher than this one. Children listen with wide eyes. Outside, snowflakes drift silently through the darkness. Inside, warmth and companionship make the long nights easier to bear. The farmer knows that winter is not an enemy. It is simply another chapter in the endless cycle. Without winter's rest, the soil cannot fully recover. Without cold nights, spring would never feel so welcome. Every season has its place. Every season teaches patience. As the years pass, the farmer notices these changes almost without thinking. He can smell rain before it falls. He can feel autumn arriving in the cool evening wind. He knows which birds return first in spring. He knows when the leaves begin turning gold. Nature has become his calendar, his teacher, his closest companion. The passing of the seasons reminds him that life is always changing. Children grow taller, new cottages are built, old friends grow gray. Some seasons bring abundance, others bring hardship, but the wheel of the year never stops turning, and neither does the work of those who live upon the land. For countless generations, medieval farmers have trusted this ancient rhythm, not because it's easy, but because it is the only rhythm they have ever known. Tomorrow, another season will come, another seed will be planted, another harvest will be gathered, and another family will quietly continue the timeless work that feeds the world. For most of the year, the life of a medieval farmer is shaped by work. The fields decide when to rise. The animals decide when to sleep. The seasons leave little room for leisure. Yet even in a world filled with endless labor, there are moments when the village slows down, moments when work gives way to celebration. These are the feast days, the holy days, the rare occasions when ordinary people can pause, breathe, and simply enjoy being together. The church bell rings differently on these mornings. Its familiar sound echoes across the valley, but today there is no rush toward the fields. The plows remain inside the barns. The oxen rest peacefully in their stalls. Even the tools seem grateful for a day of quiet. Families put on their best clothing. For most people, that simply means the cleanest tunic they own, perhaps a wool cloak that has been carefully brushed, a freshly mended pair of leather shoes. Nothing is extravagant, yet everyone takes pride in looking their best. The narrow paths soon fill with smiling faces. Neighbors greet one another warmly. Children run ahead, laughing as they chase each other through the village green. For them, feast days feel almost magical. They mean good food, games, music, and a welcome break from daily chores. The church stands at the heart of the village. Its stone walls have watched generations come and go. Here, nearly every important moment in life takes place. Baptisms, weddings, funerals, harvest blessings, prayers during times of drought, thanksgivings after seasons of abundance. Faith is not simply one part of medieval life. It is woven into every part of it. The farmer enters quietly. Sunlight pours through the narrow windows, filling the church with soft beams of golden light. Candles flicker gently before the altar. The scent of melted wax and incense lingers in the cool air. Voices rise together in simple hymns. Many villagers cannot read, yet they know the prayers by heart. They have spoken these same words since childhood. Their parents spoke them. Their grandparents spoke them. Generation after generation has carried these traditions forward. After the service, the mood begins to change. People gather outside beneath the open sky. Long wooden tables are carried into the village square. Fresh bread is placed beside large bowls of cheese. Steaming pots of vegetable stew are shared among families. If the harvest has been generous, there may even be roasted pork or beef. Such meals are remembered for months afterward, not because they are luxurious, but because they are shared. The farmer sits beside neighbors he has known all his life. Conversation flows easily. They speak of growing crops, of newborn lambs, of children who seem taller every passing season. Stories travel from one end of the table to the other. Laughter rises above them all. Nearby, musicians begin to play. A simple wooden flute sings a cheerful melody. A small drum keeps a steady rhythm. Someone produces a fiddle, and before long, the village square fills with music. Children clap their hands. Young couples begin to dance. Even older villagers smile as familiar tunes awaken memories from decades past. The farmer watches his wife join the dancing for a few moments. Her laughter carries across the square. It reminds him of the day they were married. Years have passed since then. Many harvests, many winters, many long days beneath the sun. Yet moments like this make every hardship feel a little lighter. The children play games that have been enjoyed for generations. They race across the grass, throw wooden hoops, balance on fallen logs. Their joyful shouts echo between the cottages. For a little while, no one thinks about tomorrow's work. The fields can wait until morning. As afternoon drifts into evening, traveling entertainers sometimes arrive from nearby towns. A storyteller gathers curious listeners beneath a large oak tree. He speaks of brave knights, faraway kingdoms, dragons, ancient heroes. The children sit with wide eyes. The adults know many of the stories already, yet they listen anyway. Some tales never grow old. A juggler tosses brightly colored balls into the air. A puppeteer makes carved wooden figures dance across a tiny stage. For many villagers, these performers offer the only glimpse of entertainment they will see all year. The farmer smiles quietly. Life is rarely easy. There are years of poor harvests, harsh winters, illness, loss. But there are also days like this, days filled with friendship, music, food, and gratitude. As the sun begins to set, families slowly gather their belongings. Children grow sleepy after a day of excitement. Neighbors embrace before returning home. The musicians play one final tune. The church bell rings softly across the valley once more. Tomorrow the work will begin again. The plows will return to the fields. The animals will need feeding. The crops will continue growing. Nothing has changed, and yet everything feels a little lighter, because even the hardest working hands need moments of joy. Even the busiest hearts need reasons to celebrate. The farmer walks home beside his family beneath the golden evening sky. The laughter of the village slowly fades behind them. Ahead waits another ordinary day, but tonight their hearts are full. And sometimes that is the richest harvest of all.
Winter rests gently over the countryside. The fields that only months ago shimmered with waves of golden wheat now lie silent beneath a blanket of frost. The trees stand bare against the pale sky. Their branches, stripped of leaves, reach upward like quiet hands waiting for the return of spring. The village feels different now. The pace of life has slowed.
The endless rush of planting and harvesting has given way to quieter work. Smoke rises steadily from every chimney, drifting lazily into the crisp morning air. The scent of burning oak and pine hangs over the cottages. Inside each home, families gather close to the warmth of the hearth. The farmer begins his day much as he always does. The animals still need feeding. The cow must be milked. The sheep require fresh hay. The chickens need grain scattered across the frozen ground. Winter may rest the fields, but it never rests the farmer. Every morning he carries bundles of hay from the barn. The stack has grown noticeably smaller since autumn. He counts each bundle carefully. Every armful must last until the first green grass appears again. The animals depend entirely upon what was gathered during the warmer months. Planning ahead has become one of the farmer's greatest skills. A careless summer can create a hungry winter. The farmer checks the roof after a night of heavy snow. Long wooden poles help push the thick blanket of snow from the thatched roof before its weight becomes dangerous. The cold bites at his hands. His breath forms small clouds in the morning air, yet he works patiently. Every season brings its own responsibilities. Inside the cottage, life feels warm despite the weather outside. The fire crackles softly. Its orange glow fills every corner of the room. The children sit close together beneath wool blankets. Their cheeks are rosy from the heat of the hearth. This is the season for making. The farmer sharpens worn tools. He replaces broken wooden handles on hoes and axes. He repairs baskets that will carry next year's harvest. Nothing is thrown away if it can be mended. His wife spins wool beside the fire. The soft fibers twist between her skilled fingers before becoming strong thread. Soon, the thread will be woven into warm clothing for the family. Winter is also the season for sewing. Old cloaks receive careful patches. Worn boots are stitched once more. Every repair saves precious resources. Buying something new is rarely possible. Creating it by hand is simply part of life. As darkness arrives early in the afternoon, the family gathers around the fire. Outside, snowflakes drift silently through the night. The wind hums gently around the cottage walls. Inside, another tradition begins. The oldest member of the family clears his throat. The children immediately fall silent. They know what is coming. A story. He has told many of them before, yet no one grows tired of listening. His voice is calm and steady. He speaks of the village as it was when he was a young boy. He remembers winters so cold that rivers froze solid enough for carts to cross. He remembers summers so dry that cracks appeared in the fields. He remembers the year when wolves wandered close to the village every evening. The children listen with wide eyes. To them, these stories feel almost unbelievable. But to the old man, they are memories, lessons hidden inside simple tales. He teaches them to respect the weather, to care for their animals, to help neighbors during difficult times, because one day they too will become the elders. They too will pass these stories forward. The farmer watches quietly. He realizes that wisdom cannot be planted like wheat. It grows slowly, season after season, year after year. His own father once sat exactly where the old man sits now, sharing the same stories, offering the same gentle advice. Time changes many things, yet some traditions remain untouched. The children ask questions. What was the biggest harvest you ever saw? Were you ever afraid during the great storm? Did you really see wolves? The old man smiles. His answers come slowly. There is no hurry. Winter evenings offer something the busy seasons cannot. Time. Time to remember. Time to teach. Time simply to be together.
Outside, the moon rises above the snow-covered fields. Its pale light reflects across the frozen landscape, making the entire countryside shimmer. The world feels peaceful, almost enchanted. The farmer steps outside for one final look before bed. The cold air is sharp and clean. His boots crunch softly across the snow. Every cottage stands quietly beneath the stars. Every chimney sends a thin ribbon of smoke into the night. He pauses. There is beauty in winter's silence. No buzzing insects, no creaking wagons, no shouting across the fields. Only stillness, only peace. He takes a slow, deep breath. Spring still feels far away. The fields still sleep beneath their blanket of snow, but he knows they are resting, gathering strength, waiting for the warmth of another sunrise, just like the village itself, just like every farmer who has ever called this land home. And as he returns to the warmth of his cottage, he knows that when spring finally arrives, they will all be ready to begin again. The years pass quietly, not with great celebrations or dramatic moments, but with the steady rhythm of sunrise and sunset. One season follows another. Spring becomes summer. Summer fades into autumn. Autumn gives way to winter. Then, almost before anyone notices, spring returns once more. For the medieval farmer, time is not counted by the pages of a calendar. It is counted by harvests, by newborn lambs, by the height of growing wheat, by the first frost that silvers the fields each year. The farmer no longer feels as young as he once did. The strong hands that guided the plow through countless seasons now carry the marks of a lifetime's labor. His palms are thick with calluses. His shoulders are broader than they once were, but they tire more quickly. His dark hair has slowly turned gray, touched by years beneath the open sky. Each wrinkle upon his face tells a story. One came from squinting into the summer sun, another from smiling at his children's laughter. Others arrived quietly after difficult winters and poor harvests. None of them are signs of weakness. They are signs of a life honestly lived. The village has changed as well. The little children who once chased butterflies through the meadows are now grown men and women. Some have married, some have built cottages of their own. Their laughter now belongs to a new generation. The farmer often watches his grandchildren running through the same fields where he once played. They chase chickens with the same excitement. They climb the same old oak tree beside the stream. They ask the same endless questions about the world. He smiles every time. Some things never change. One cool autumn morning, his eldest son prepares the oxen before sunrise. The movements are familiar, checking the harness, adjusting the plow, running a hand along the animal's broad shoulders. The farmer stands nearby, watching quietly. Years ago, his own father stood in exactly the same place, watching him learn these very lessons. Now, without realizing it, the cycle has come full circle. The son asks for advice. Is the soil ready? The farmer kneels and scoops a handful of earth into his palm. He rubs it gently between his fingers. Then he smiles. It is ready. The answer is simple, but it comes from decades of experience. There are no books that teach this, no classroom where such wisdom is written on a board. The land itself has been his teacher. The farmer no longer walks behind the plow every day. His sons and daughters carry much of the heavy work now. Instead, he notices the little things others sometimes miss. He watches the clouds. He listens to the birds. He feels the direction of the wind. He knows when rain is near, simply by the smell of the air. Experience has sharpened his senses more than youth ever could. On warm evenings,
He enjoys sitting outside his cottage as the sun slowly disappears beyond the hills. Children gather around him. "Tell us about the great harvest. What was the hardest winter? Were you ever frightened?" He answers each question patiently, not to impress them, but to prepare them. Because one day, these children will become farmers too. They will face storms of their own. They will celebrate harvests of their own. They will discover that courage often looks like simply getting up before dawn and doing the work that needs to be done. The farmer has learned that life is rarely remembered through extraordinary events. Instead, it is shaped by ordinary days. Days spent planting seeds, repairing fences, feeding animals, sharing meals, holding a child's hand, comforting a neighbor, watching the sun rise, watching the sun set, again and again. The village bell tower continues to ring across the valley, just as it always has. Its sound has marked every chapter of his life. His wedding, his children's baptisms, harvest festivals, funerals, the passing of old friends, the arrival of new life. The bell reminds everyone that time moves forward whether they notice it or not. One evening, the farmer walks slowly to the edge of his favorite field. The wheat has already been gathered. Only neat rows of golden stubble remain. A gentle breeze moves across the open land. The setting sun paints the sky with shades of amber, rose, and deep purple. He looks across the countryside that has been both his workplace and his home. Every hill feels familiar. Every tree carries a memory. Every path holds footprints from decades of faithful labor. He realizes something quietly. He has never been famous. No artist will paint his portrait. No poet will write songs about his life. No king will ever know his name. And yet, thousands of meals have existed because of hands like his. Entire generations have grown strong because farmers quietly worked from dawn until dusk. History often remembers those who ruled, but it survives because of those who cultivated. As darkness gently settles over the fields, the farmer turns toward home. His grandchildren run ahead, laughing as they race each other along the familiar path. He follows more slowly now. His steps are careful, his pace is gentle, but his heart is full. For a lifetime spent close to the land has given him something far greater than wealth. It has given him purpose, and in the quiet fields of the medieval world, that is a legacy no passing season can ever erase.
The village is peaceful once again. Another evening settles gently across the fields. The last light of the sun fades beyond the western hills, leaving the sky painted with soft shades of gold, lavender, and deep blue. A cool breeze carries the familiar scent of earth, wild grasses, and wood smoke. It is a scene that has repeated itself for countless generations, and yet no two evenings are ever quite the same. The farmer stands quietly at the edge of his land. The same fields that once seemed endless beneath the eager feet of a young man now feel like old friends. Every corner holds a memory. Here was the first harvest he gathered beside his father. There, beneath the old oak tree, he rested on long summer afternoons. Along that narrow stream, his children learned to skip stones across the water. The land has witnessed every chapter of his life. It has celebrated with him during years of abundance. It has challenged him during years of hardship. It has never spoken a single word, yet it has taught him lessons that no book could ever contain. He has learned that patience is stronger than haste, that steady effort often accomplishes more than great bursts of strength, that hope is planted long before it can ever be seen, and that every harvest begins with faith in something still hidden beneath the soil. The village around him continues to grow. Children become parents, parents become grandparents. New cottages rise where empty fields once stood. Old cottages slowly disappear, their weathered timber returning to the earth from which it first came. Nothing remains unchanged. Not the people, not the seasons, not even the land itself. And yet, the rhythm continues. Before dawn, someone always rises to light the fire. Someone always feeds the animals. Someone always walks into the fields, carrying seeds, trusting another season to begin. The farmer understands that this rhythm is larger than any one person. He has simply been one small part of an endless story. A story that stretches backward through forgotten generations and forward toward people who have not yet been born. His greatest achievements will never appear inside royal records. No castle wall will bear his name. No grand monument will be built in his honor. But perhaps that has never mattered, because every loaf of bread served at a king's table began as grain grown by hands much like his. Every crowded market depended upon farmers rising before sunrise. Every thriving town relied upon villages hidden beyond the hills. History often shines its brightest light upon crowns and battles, but beneath every great kingdom lies the quiet work of ordinary people. The farmer was one of them, and there were millions more. Men and women who asked for little, who endured harsh winters without complaint, who welcomed spring with grateful hearts, who measured success not by riches, but whether their children had enough to eat. As darkness deepens, the first stars begin to appear overhead. The farmer looks upward. The same constellations that guided his grandfather still shine above him. The same moon that watched over ancient kingdoms now rises above these peaceful fields. The sky reminds him that some things endure far longer than a single lifetime. His grandchildren laugh in the distance. Their voices drift gently across the evening air. They are chasing fireflies that flicker among the tall grasses. For a moment, the farmer simply watches. Then he smiles. The future no longer belongs to him. It belongs to them. They will inherit the fields, the tools, the stories, the wisdom earned through generations of quiet labor. They will make mistakes of their own. They will celebrate harvests of their own. And one day, they too will stand at the edge of these fields, watching another sunset and remembering those who came before. The farmer turns toward home. A warm glow shines from the cottage windows. Inside, supper is waiting. The fire crackles softly. The voices of family fill the little house with life. It is not a palace. It is not filled with gold or precious treasures, but it is home. And after a lifetime spent working beneath the open sky, there is no place he would rather be. The stars brighten. The village grows still. The fields rest beneath the quiet embrace of night. Tomorrow, another farmer will wake before the first light. Another pair of hands will guide the plow. Another family will gather around the hearth. The great wheel of the seasons will continue to turn, just as it always has. Perhaps that is the true lesson of the medieval farmer's life. Not that it was easy, not that it was perfect, but that it was meaningful. Through patience, through perseverance, through love for family, respect for the land, and hope for tomorrow, ordinary people quietly built the foundations of the world we know today.
So, as our journey through the Middle Ages comes to an end, leave this peaceful village with one final thought. Long before towering cities, roaring engines, and glowing screens filled our lives, there were simple people who greeted the sunrise with grateful hearts and ended each day knowing they had done honest work. Their names may have been forgotten, their cottages may have returned to dust, but their legacy remains all around us. In every field that still grows grain, in every loaf of bread shared around a table, in every family that gathers at the end of a long day. Their story was never truly about the past. It has always been about the quiet strength of ordinary human lives. Thank you for walking beside one humble medieval farmer from dawn to dusk through every season of his life. Now, the fire burns low, the stars shine brightly above, the village sleeps peacefully, and it is time for us to quietly say goodnight.